If you tell me that taking wheat out of my diet is going to make me feel better and look better and like improve my health, wheat's gonna be out the door so fast, it's not even funny. Want to give a quick intro before the actual intro to this video and let you know that I will be chiming in throughout the blog here to fill you in on some things. I recorded this over about 3 weeks of time, and I noticed when I was editing that there were some gaps. So I'm like, let me fill you in and make sure that you have all of the information. Definitely make sure to check out my description for any links and additional information that I'm going to plug you with, okay? I got my little sweet potato chips, and let's start the show. Hey y'all, welcome to my autoimmune protocol reset. If you're not familiar, an autoimmune protocol is a diet where you are really taking quite a bit out of your diet. I don't want to use the word restrictive because I just don't think that that's helpful, but we're eating in a very clean way. We're eating all anti-inflammatory foods. Maybe a better way to say it is that we're not eating inflammatory foods. So things like eggs can be inflammatory to some people. Obviously seed oils can be inflammatory. We have like nuts and seeds. I'm eliminating dairy, gluten, and grains. So this is even like pea protein powder is a no-go. And what other things like rice, quinoa. I know it's like, well, Jordan, what can you eat? Well, I'm about to show you because we have a grocery haul. First things first, definitely want to take you through the things that I did get from Whole Foods today, because without food and like the proper nourishment, I certainly would not be able to do none of this. Whew. I sat down this morning and I spent some time going through all my meals for the next few days, really like the next maybe 5 or 6 days, and trying to understand how can I get the amount of protein that I want, because y'all know I be in the gym, but also keep my caloric intake high without eating like the rice and the quinoa, certain grains and things that add calories to a snack or a meal, but that I can't have now. Even like nuts and seeds, that's really something that adds a lot of healthy fats, a lot of calories, even some protein to things that I gotta take out. So there's no almond butter, there's no chia seeds or like hemp seeds. All right, this is what I got. Some plantain chips for snacks, lots of dates, coconut water. Ooh, coconut aminos. This is so clutch if you want something that has like a soy teriyaki feel to it, but you don't want any of the inflammatory properties of soy. Also, soy sauce tends to have gluten in there. So this is soy-free and gluten-free. You can marinate with this, you can cook with this, you can drizzle it, or this would be a nice, like sauce. A little coconut milk for some coconut shrimp, mango and avocado, lemons and limes, red onion, some zucchini. I also referred to the list of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So that's put together by the Environmental Working Group, and you can reference that when you want to understand what are the things that you absolutely need to be buying organic if you can, and what are the things that you can get away with not buying organic based on how much pesticides that have been found on those foods for this year. So EWG.org has that available for us to reference online. These are golden beets. I'll be cooking with these, roasting these. I have never cooked with those before, so that'll be a first. Asparagus, plantains and bananas, apples. Trying the Just Ingredients protein for the first time. I actually got this for Rashad. I am going to do a little taste of this, but I have my own special protein supplement that I'll put you on. So stay tuned for that. Sweet potatoes, red cabbage, jicama. Am I saying that correctly? I have not cooked with jicama before, so again, first time as well here. I'm gonna do some like fries with that. Fresh cilantro, some ghee, butter. Even though this is a dairy product, this is clarified butter. This doesn't have the cream that milks and butters have in them. It has, it's been processed so that it's just the oil. So it's more of like an oil-based butter, if that makes sense. And it's really good to cook with, especially at high temperatures. Coconut milk, pasture-raised, chicken breast. I did get this keto bread for Rashad. He eats this for breakfast, but this does have flaxseed in it that I'm not able to do right now, and eggs. But this is a very, very good like grain-free, gluten-free bread if you are in search of one. I love this brand, Base Culture. I'll return back to some of this stuff after I go through this autoimmune protocol, which is gonna last me I'm gonna do it for about 3 weeks. I'd like to do it for 4, but I'm not gonna be able to do a whole month right now because of stuff I got going on in life. Artichoke hearts, frozen shrimp. I also did wild caught tuna steaks. Then I got some grass-fed breakfast links. I should have got 2 of these because there's only 2.5 servings per container. Definitely feeling prepared. This is the full haul. I feel like it looks like I'm gonna have plenty to eat. I got some fish and chicken, my coconut milk and water. And this right here has really been a game changer for AIP and all the anti-inflammatory needs. It's very clean and it has a lot of flavor. And this is like some cute little branding. They just redid their packaging. I'm about to make me some breakfast and then I'll show you a little bit more about why I'm doing this AIP protocol, why I'm doing it now. Right now in August. You'll be seeing this maybe at like the top of September, but give me a second. So this will be my last waffle for a little while. Probably going to stay away from the maple syrups and the honeys for the next 3 weeks. It's also actually my birthday today that I'm recording this, so happy birthday to me. I'm timing this up to start right after my birthday. So I'm like, let me go ahead and get a couple of like my last little favorite meals and snacks in and then do a full reset starting in August. I'm gonna start on August 2nd. Today's the 31st, July 31st. We're gonna go out to eat tomorrow for my birthday at one of my favorite restaurants in New Orleans. It's called Merrill. It's fantastic. So a big part of why I'm doing the autoimmune protocol at this time, I've done something very similar before called an elimination diet. I did that April of last year, really trying to manage inflammation. And I don't think people realize that so many foods that we eat are inflammatory, and that's not to scare anybody, but there's just a way to reset, like a better way to reset, I think, than just doing a detox or something where you're doing watermelon for 3 days in a row. I just kind of think that that's insane. I'm glad to be doing this again in this way. I feel like I have so much more information. I'm following specifically Dr. Amy Myers and her autoimmune protocol. Preparing with the groceries, obviously. I also have an entire supplement lineup that we'll get into on Saturday when I check in. It includes a multivitamin, probiotic, a charcoal binder, some omega-3 fatty acids, also a paleo protein with bovine collagen and some tryptophan. So it's a complete amino acid protein powder and maybe 1 or 2 other supplements. So this will be the most supplements that I've ever taken day by day at a time. Also, some digestive enzymes are part of the lineup. And I just want that extra support as I have tapered off my biologic medication. I was taking injections every 2 weeks for my ulcerative colitis, and I now want to manage my ulcerative colitis on my own, getting off that medication and that ridiculously expensive biologic that I'm just like, I can't do that for the rest of my life. So the way I have to manage all of this is through diet and lifestyle. I don't have any other choice. And that's why we're here today. This is a resource from the protocol that I'm following. So Dr. Amy Myers has this online. I opted to print it out, of course. So it shares the proteins and the vegetables, the fruits that are safe to eat during this time. It also gives us a list of foods to toss, which I think is pretty cool. Just a reminder of like, these are the things that, you know, we don't want to have right now, but a lot of these things we can reintroduce later on. So it's not necessarily a forever thing. It's just more so right now we want to make sure everything is much more inflammatory friendly, you know, anti-inflammatory vibes. Also took some time the last couple weeks to read the book, The Autoimmune Solution. That's what it looks like. And I just read this on Libby. That way I could access it for free first before I bought like the paperback. I would like to buy the paperback. I don't know if I absolutely need to, but this has a lot of recipes in it as well. So if you're not able to come up with some meals on the fly of like how you can put some of the foods that you can have right here, how you can put them together as like meals. She has some recipes and she literally lays it out like day 1, here, you can eat this. Day 2, eat this. Day 3, eat this. This is when you'll have leftovers. This is how much you're prepping for. I think all of the meals make about like 4 to 6 servings or something like that. So she gets really granular with it. If you wanted to follow it exactly, you could essentially have a recipe or know exactly what you're making. And when you're repeating meals every single day. So that's the resource that I'm using. And the supplements, got them in the cabinet here. All of these, I'll be taking these the entire 3 weeks. So I mentioned there's a probiotic, omega-3s back there, the multivitamin, a charcoal binder, the complete enzymes, also D3K2, which I take already. So that won't be anything new to me. And the paleo protein is what's back there, that big bag. Have a little leaky gut revive and some immune IG. So on Saturday when I start the supplements, I will run through all of that with you. I'll also have my AMMD affiliate link in the description if you want to learn more about the protocol or you want to order your own protocol. And feel free definitely like throughout this video if you have a question to leave it in the comments and let me know. So I'll just keep checking in with you throughout the month. Let's go over what all I'm about to be taking for the next few weeks. This is the day after my birthday dinner, so I'm starting a little slow. Anyways, today's the next day and the diet starts today. I'm really so excited. It's going to be really good. I think it's going to be really insightful. I think there's 9 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 different items here. I don't know where to start, but we're going to do a probiotic. So I'm going to switch from the seed that I've been taking. I've been doing seed symbiotic for a while. I'm going to pause that and move over to this. So this is 100 billion CFUs. What that means is there's 100 billion colony forming units, but there's 14 different bacterial strains in this probiotic. We're going to take this on an empty stomach. So I'll be taking this in the morning away from food. The other things that I'm going to be taking away from food also are the Immune IG and the Leaky Gut Revive. This Leaky Gut Revive is going to replace the L-glutamine that I've been taking. L-glutamine is an amino acid. It's the most abundant amino acid in the gut, and I say the gut, but the intestines. So we want to make sure that we're supporting if we have any like IBS, IBD, like digestive, I wouldn't say discomfort, but if there's a digestive condition going on that you know about, you've probably heard of or read into L-glutamine. Hopefully whoever you are working with has shared with you about L-glutamine. So this has 3,000 milligrams of L-glutamine per scoop of powder. It also has some bark powder, marshmallow root, licorice root, slippery elm, and aloe vera. Those are all items in this blend that are going to help restore the gut lining. So what's happening is leaky gut is something that means that your intestines has become a little bit more permeable. So there's maybe food items and toxins that you're eating that are going through the digestive tract that are now able to slip through the gut lining and get into the bloodstream and cause some systemic inflammation or cause an immune response, hence autoimmune disease, kind of prompt our body to inflame a certain area of our body that's not actually necessary. So it's as simple as taking gluten, for example. Like if a molecule of gluten slips through the gut and is in the body and should not be there, our body's going to be like, oh, what is this? We need to fix this. And then it drives a lot of antibodies to that location. And sometimes that happening over time, a prolonged response like that leads to autoimmunity. This Immune IG, so this is the one that I'm kind of the least familiar with, but I've been reading on it. This is serum derived bovine immunoglobulins. I know I'm saying like a whole bunch, but this is actually derived from the antibodies in cow blood. I know it sounds insane. I'm learning about this, so I'm not putting anything into my body that I don't understand, but this will support my barrier function. Again, just making sure that I am supplementing with items that are going to restore the lining of my actual gut. It's not about just alleviating symptoms. It's like, how do I restore my intestinal barrier? So that way, when I reintroduce foods later on, after this 3-week period, I'm able to, my body is not freaking out because I eat a tortilla or I eat an egg. You know what I mean? In no particular order, this is omega-3s. I'll explain a little bit more about this in the coming days. I feel like going through all of these in one sitting would be a lot. Complete enzymes, so this will help to digest our food. D3K2, which I've already been taking. I'm actually going to just scale back and do about 1 or 2 drops a day, a multivitamin. This one is going to be really fun to go through because there's so many different vitamins in here. We want to make sure too that the multivitamin that we're taking is active vitamins and not synthetic vitamins. A lot of store-bought multivitamins are synthetic, and our body has to work harder to convert them into an active version for our bodies to even use, and the absorption level goes down. So you might be taking a multivitamin that essentially is not working because our body is just having to work a little extra hard, and then that could put burden on other, like our kidneys and body systems and stuff like that. Charcoal binder complete. So this will bind to toxins and help with my detoxification. There is some chlorella here and spirulina, zeolite. So I think we went through all of those. And last but not least, this is the paleo protein. This is bovine collagen with a little bit of MCT oil. And also there's added tryptophan here. So a lot of times when you do collagen, it's not a complete protein. If you are doing collagen as a supplemental protein, it's not a complete protein because it's missing tryptophan. So this particular paleo protein powder has tryptophan added into it. So this would be considered a complete protein. So I like that about this. So no whey protein for me, no whey isolate, no plant proteins, no pea proteins for me at this time. That was really a mouthful, and I'm trying to pace this so I'm not having to give you everything at once, but I do want you to understand like what all is going on and what are all the things. I'm just gonna put some of this up. We'll take this with breakfast and lunch later. I'm also thinking about how I'm gonna have to rework my morning routine just a little bit because I have so many things to take, and some things need to be taken with food, some things need to be taken with on an empty stomach. And then the charcoal binder that I showed you needs to be taken away from food. And I think that I'm going to take that 2 hours after I eat dinner. And that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, I really have to plan all of this out. Even like the multivitamin, I need to take that at breakfast and at lunch. And I've not ever taken a multivitamin that I needed to take twice a day. Also the omega-3, I need to take that twice a day. I'm about to record on my iPhone for the TikTok. I'm also so excited to get back to vlog style content because I've been doing the main character maintenance series on YouTube, which has been more talking head podcast style. So bear with me. We're doing, this AIP supplement vlog. Let me see. I gotta switch over my mic. Fun fact, I have 2 sets of DJI mics because we use them, to do, sometimes when we're doing client work and like podcasts, or we have multiple people recording and things like that, we just have 2 sets of them. So I have one that's set up to plug into my iPhone very quickly, and then I have the other one that's set up to plug into the camera. Cute. Hey y'all, I'm on day 1 of my autoimmune protocol with my ANMD supplements. So in the morning on an empty stomach, I'm going to start with the probiotic 100 billion. This means there's 100 billion colony-forming units or CFUs in the blend, and there's 40 different strains of bacteria going on here. So this is the bacteria that we want to repopulate our gut with. The serving size is 1 capsule. And I'm going to mix these 2 powders in some room temperature water. The first one is Leaky Gut Revive. This is 3,000 milligrams of L-glutamine. So L-glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the gut. It helps to restore my gut lining, promotes a healthy microbiome, and support my immune function because 70% or so of the immune system lives in the gut. So we're going to do a scoop of this. The flavor is strawberry lemonade, and a scoop of the immune IG. This is serum-derived bovine immunoglobulin. This is a great alternative to colostrum, and it's going to help my immune system to process unwanted compounds and external stressors, thus supporting a healthy digestive tract. All right, let's give it a taste. This is really nice. I really like the strawberry lemonade. It's about 12:30. I'm eating a late breakfast because we did go out to eat last night, and I wanted to give my body some time to kind of chill. So I've just been fasting. I did drink that strawberry lemonade, but it was really good. Like, I enjoyed the taste of it. So for breakfast, because I'm not able to do eggs, gluten, dairy, I'm going to do some sweet potatoes, and I have some zucchini right here. I have some apples that I put in here as well. I've never done this combination before. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm really not super picky about my meals all the time. I just want them to be balanced more than anything. But it took me well over a year to get to this point where I'm eating vegetables for breakfast, and I'm just making sure I meet my protein goal. I'm making sure that I am eating fibrous vegetables. I just mentally am checking down every single meal, making sure it is as nutritious as I can make it. But now with some of the parameters, I don't even want to use the word restriction, but with the parameters of an AIP diet, I still want to have fun and make sure I'm even stepping up like my herbs, and I'm trying vegetables that I usually wouldn't buy. We'll also do some grass-fed beef sausage. I'm just really getting detailed with what's grass-fed versus organic, and when I want to maybe go completely pasture-raised and grass-fed, and when sometimes organic makes the cut. Like it's not necessarily the same, because when we talk about organic, especially with the meat products, from what I understand is that it's organic, meaning there's no like added hormones and things of that nature, whereas grass-fed is meaning, or pasture-raised is more descriptive of what they're eating. So if you have a cow or a chicken that's on a corn or a soy-based diet, and you're avoiding those foods, you got to make sure that you're eating grass-fed or pasture-raised animal products that won't be fed that sort of feed. It can get really deep. Let me jump in here real quick and tell you a little bit more about the omega-3 soft gel and the multivitamin. Quick fun fact, 90% of the American population doesn't meet the recommended threshold for the amount of omega-3s that we are consuming that are in our body. So a lot of times we can be deficient in something and not really know it unless we've had like proper blood work or a functional assessment and different things. But an omega-3 is going to cover your baselines, and it's a very, like, think of it as insurance, like a type of supplement that, you know, just making sure you get it in can't hurt. So I'm not necessarily suggesting that you supplement. This is not a replacement for support from a practitioner or a licensed medical provider, but I just want to educate you on the omega-3 that I was taking. So there's about, I think, 1,000 milligrams of both EPA and DHA, which are types of essential fatty acids that we want to have in our diet. So a lot of times we're going to also get these things from fish if you do incorporate fish in your diet. However, if you are not eating any fish or fish several times a week, you might be wanting to supplement with an omega-3. But the really cool thing about the Amy Myers omega-3 was that there was no bad taste. Sometimes you can get these like little fish burps after you've taken fatty acid soft gel. These have a little bit of rosemary extract in them, and they are also made with like a lemon flavor. So the taste is not bad at all. Also on the multivitamin, I really like this one because it is an iron-free blend. Some multivitamins, especially women's multivitamins, are going to contain a little bit of iron in them. However, if you are supplementing, like I feel like a lot of women are, with iron from your medical provider or just a targeted iron supplement, you may want to make sure that your multivitamin doesn't contain iron as well. And doubling up on iron actually is like one of the supplements we want to make sure that we are not taking in excess. Our body has a really tough time getting rid of excess iron, whereas other supplements, our body can just flush those out if they are, you know, floating around in excess, and we can clear that out. Iron is a different story. Once our iron levels get too high, there's other problems that end up happening. So definitely check your multivitamin if you are taking one and understand if it has an iron in it or if it doesn't, especially if you are supplementing with just an isolated iron supplement. Another thing that I like about the AMMD multivitamin is that it is sourced with active ingredients, which you'll find a lot of times in a store-bought supplement is that they are largely using synthetic ingredients because they're cheaper to manufacture. Thus the profit margins for the brands are a bit better. And so we want to make sure that we're sourcing vitamins that have active forms of the ingredients in them. This makes it more bioavailable and absorbable for our body. So essentially we do not want to be taking a supplement that's in the synthetic form and then our body is not really absorbing it. like we want it to, and we're wondering, this vitamin doesn't work for us. What's up with this? Is this vitamin working for us? And how can I maximize my absorption? Well, first thing is first is you get what you pay for, and you can maximize your absorption by getting a quality supplement brand, something that is clinical grade, and really doing some research on that and making sure that whatever it is you are supplementing with is in its active form. I talk about this a lot in my What the Actual Supp program. I'll link that in the description. That is a program. It's a free open session that I run twice a month through the Fine Diet practice. So definitely check that out if you are interested and curious about supplementation and you just want to take like a 101 crash course and just like checking your supplement stack and making sure like, am I taking something that I even need to be taking? How do I know I need to be taking this? Like, what's the difference between blood work and a functional assessment? Like, how can I source better brands for my vitamin and mineral supplementation? Okay, I got you. That'll be linked in the description. Back to the vlog. I just got myself together for my morning routine. We are on day 3 of autoimmune protocol. And honestly, I feel so amazing. I feel really good. Taking all of the dairy, the eggs, the gluten, the grains, some of all of the legumes, the beans, things like that out of your diet. Obviously, I've already removed sugar. And I'll do gluten and dairy on occasion when I am indulging a little bit, maybe once or twice a month. But day to day, I do not have gluten, dairy, and sugar. And I've been doing that for a year and a half now. Game changer. And I think that sometimes we think it's so hard. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to go gluten free. Everything got gluten in it. But you just have to immerse yourself. And once you start to find replacements and things like that, you don't even realize that the gluten is gone. At least that was my experience. If you would have told me 3, 4, 5 years ago that I wouldn't be eating bread on a weekly basis or a day-to-day basis, I would have been looking at you like you was crazy. Like, how am I gonna eat bread? That's a part of the diet. And it's like, no, our body doesn't actually need it. And sometimes it's a trigger for us, but we're all different, you know? I've been taking these 2 drinks outside with me in the morning. So just obviously lemon water for now. You can do tea. I just prefer opening my days with a warm beverage. This is room temperature water. So I don't put ice in my drinks. I might put ice in my smoothies every once in a while, but I'm even leaning towards doing more room temperature smoothies. I know that sounds insane. It depends on the smoothie, okay? But I might put some coconut water that's chilled in there or some coconut milk that's chilled, but I'm not doing a lot of like frozen fruits a lot of the time. It depends though, for sure. But I like to open myself to be able to do either, because sometimes when we're putting cold beverages in our system, it can actually restrict our esophagus and it dilutes our stomach acid a little bit more than we would want to. So sometimes if we're about to eat a meal, we don't necessarily want to drink a lot of very cold beverages right before the meal. Now, that's not to say if you're outside, you're at the pool or it's hot outside or whatever, that you can't do like ice water or iced tea. This is very situational. The room temp is much, much better for just the lubrication of your digestive tract. So hear me out on that. I'm definitely not trying to villainize ice or nothing like that. Anyways, it is day 4 actually of AIP. I might have said 3 earlier, I don't know. But it's been about 6 days since I ordered groceries. So I needed to order a few more groceries today. They're coming in a little bit. What's really cool about ordering your groceries online is, y'all, I literally went to the cart and I just added all the items that I ordered 6 days ago back into the cart and deleted the ones that I didn't want. It was so easy because right now I'm just keeping it simple. I'm remaking I have a coconut shrimp and mango salsa. I have some tuna steak, some grass-fed beef sausage. I'm making some of like the same recipes, like cabbage, plantains, sweet potatoes. Those are like my go-to vegetables. The beets in the morning, zucchini and asparagus, like just, whatever. I'm snacking on dates and plantain chips right now. That's really like doing what it needs to do. I'm going to show you what this tracker that I have looks like, and y'all let me know if this is something that you're interested in. If you're like, yeah, I would follow this, like I would so use this. I'm trying to put a lot of resources together to make the things that I am doing, available for anyone who wants them. I'm keeping all of this in this spreadsheet right now. So week 1, that was my grocery list here. You scroll down a little bit more, I have exactly what I spent on groceries 6 days ago and the meals that I plan to make from the grocery list. This will be week 2. So I actually need to update this because I ordered groceries last night. I just need to fill this in with the items from this side that I re-upped on. If that makes sense. And then we'll have, a updated total here. And then I'll put my meals in here. I'm actually tripping. I made 2 of these spreadsheets, so this is the most updated one. So you see these have already been erased. I can fill this in like I was just saying. And then my week 2 meals, I can put them in here. So some of these I'm going to be repeating from the first week, which is why I like to track my stuff like this, because I can just roll things over when I want to. So this is more of like a 21-day plan. Ideally, I would have done something like 30 days. That's how long the program is actually for. It's supposed to be a 30-day thing, but I've got some things coming up, so I couldn't quite go like a full 4 weeks. But I was like, let me fit it into this 3 weeks. I think that that's better than nothing. But sometimes when you're doing something this important, it is great to go as long as you can. I know that changed my life when I did an elimination diet in April of 2024. I was originally going to do it for 8 weeks. 8 weeks is a long time. A lot of people only do those things for like 2, 3, or 4 weeks. And I ended up actually doing the thing for like 10 weeks because I felt so good. I got so used to it. I was like, I prefer this way of eating. It is very anti-inflammatory, and there's just not a replacement for the way that you like want to feel and want to look. Like my skin was way better, all of these things, and I just don't want, personally, I don't want that to be a barrier for anybody trying to do like these very difficult diet changes and unlearn certain things about nutrition and work new stuff into their day-to-day eating habits, because it's very difficult, but it's so worth it. And it's more just about like resetting your mind for the new way of going about this. And sometimes I'm just like, you must not feel that bad. You must not be that sick if you can't stay away from certain things. Because if you tell me that taking wheat out of my diet is going to make me feel better and look better and like improve my health, wheat's gonna be out the door so fast, it's not even funny. I'm gonna check in later. Let me share with you a little bit more information on the vitamin D3K2 and the complete digestive enzymes. Okay, I didn't really talk about those too much throughout the video, but I want to let you know what they are. Vitamin D3K2 is a synergistic combination. Okay, so we've got the vitamin D3, which is cholecalciferol. That's what you'll see on an ingredient label. The vitamin K2 helps to support the calcium absorption throughout the body and helps direct calcium to the teeth and the gums specifically. So vitamin D is very important for our bone health, our neurological health, and also supports our immune system as well as K2. And oftentimes you'll see these paired together because the D2 helps our body absorb calcium, and then the K2 helps the calcium get to where it needs to go. So it's just not sitting in the wrong place in our body, if that makes sense, especially if we are ingesting a D3K2. It's in our digestive tract. We got to make sure that it passes through the digestive tract into the bloodstream so we can get it to the other places of the body. So I think I'm explaining that pretty well. The complete digestive enzymes, I really like these by Amy Myers, MD. I didn't take them before every single meal during the protocol. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I was eating so clean just regardless, and really like avoiding all inflammatory or possibly inflammatory foods. But throughout the last few weeks, for sure, I've taken the enzymes before meals that I knew I was going to eat a little bit more, or maybe I was eating late at night for some reason and I wasn't going to have time to like digest my entire meal before going to sleep. So I have had a good experience with them so far, but I can continue to report back if I start to use them on more of a regular basis. So what a digestive enzyme is when you consume the capsule, these are little capsule forms. There's chewable enzymes as well, but these capsules are going to help your body to stimulate digestive enzymes for the breakdown of food. So this complete digestive enzyme is great because it is a combination of protease, lactase, amylase, I'm trying to think of cellulase and sucrase. All of these different enzymes that are just named are going to help us break down proteins, carbs, sugars, fats, vegetables, and fibers, like all of the things. And so that's what this means by being a complete digestive enzyme. It's going to cover all of those bases. And now if you need something that's a bit more targeted, you could pinpoint just an enzyme that's going to help you digest proteins a little bit better. Maybe you need something that's just a lactase enzyme that helps you digest lactose, the sugar molecule in milk. So that's some of the food science for you behind that enzyme and how those are going to be helpful for your digestion. Now we're back to the vlog. We are on day 11, something like that. We've gone through the supplements and now it might be like, all right, Jordan, like all of that's cool, but what are you eating every day? I showed you the sweet potato hash the other day that I did. I've been really hooked on that. So I did that with some grass-fed beef last week. And then this week I'm going to, instead of orange sweet potato, I have a white sweet potato, a little golden beet, and some zucchini. So I'll cube all of this up and we'll just like cook it down in a skillet with some either ghee or olive oil. I think I'm gonna go with ghee, just about maybe half a tablespoon of ghee. Sprinkle that with some garlic and ginger. You know what, I'm lying. I'm gonna just do ground ginger and sea salt. Keep it simple, okay? Those will be my seasonings. I've really learned like with the ghee and the right amount of seasonings, the fresh vegetables, you're really able to put something together that's very savory and tasty. Right now my breakfasts obviously are leaning a little bit more savory because I'm not doing, oatmeals or not able to do waffles and certain flours and things like that. And that's fine. Like I can give that up for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, no issue. Now, if I was suggesting this to someone else, I would say absolutely, like do the full 30 days. Don't be trying to do what I'm doing. It's because I've done this before that I feel very comfortable with the fact that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for 21 days, but I'm going to fall off a little bit the last week of August. You'll see why in an upcoming video, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to chop these vegetables up. I look super crazy. It's Monday morning. I worked all weekend. Just listen and don't judge, okay? I'm also really coming to terms with the times that I decide to be done up on a camera and the times that I'm just turning the camera on and this is realistic, right? Because I would prefer to be on camera every day and look a certain way, have hair done in a certain way, maybe a little light makeup or something, but obviously that is not realistic. And actually most days right now, I'm not wearing makeup. I really don't think y'all probably care. So I was just like looking at my hair and the thing, because I look at the camera lens when I'm recording. It sometimes bugs me when people look at themselves while they're recording a vlog because I'm like, I'm talking to you, right? I don't always look in the camera and see my hair might be out of place or something. But yeah, I don't really think that y'all care. So this is what it is. Today, like I said, is a Monday. I'll be working from home all day. I have so much stuff to do. There's a few clients that I work with because I do have a company that does branding, marketing. Like we support with people who are launching businesses and helping them to get like their assets together for that. It might be something for social media. It might be something for their website. It might be designing a brand identity. Done that for a very long time, like 7 years now. And that still exists with clients and project work, creative things. On the other hand, I'm in school right now. I will have already graduated and I'll be a certified NTP by the time you see this video. But I got a couple weeks left and I have a couple more assignments, just my last assignments due. I am starting a functional nutrition practice. That's Fine Diet. That'll be where I put up a lot of my own programs and protocols, where I work with clients one-to-one. I'm starting to see a few clients already and really like dig my heels into what the functional nutrition space looks like for women, and especially women of color. Literally all of that going on. And so it keeps me pretty busy. I am fortunate that, I am able to work from home. I have a really nice homework setup. And it's interesting because eating this way, not even just AIP, but just eating a lot healthier and understanding how to really pull together balanced meals, I feel like is so important and underrated when you work from home, because you will catch yourself snacking because you have access to your fridge and your pantry all day long. So we really got to watch out for that. But I'm also on the flip side, I think a reframe is being grateful that I do have access to my kitchen, and that is not something I take for granted. Because I know that I have all kinds of friends and people who, you know, are on the go or they travel a lot for work, and that really impacts how you can nourish your body. So I am not unaware. This is what the golden beet looks like. It's so pretty. Since we're chatting, I am currently always reading about 5 books. It's insane. That's why I look like this, is because I don't have time to like look a certain way right now. It'll come, it'll get better. Just, you know, mark my words. But I'm reading about, I don't know, 4 books right now. One of them is for school, and then I have a couple others, 2 or 3 others. Like one is an audiobook, and then I'm physically reading a couple or doing the Libby version. And the one I want to tell you about is The Archetype Diet by Dana. I'm gonna put her name on the thing because I don't know what her last name is off the top. It is so good, and it categorizes women into 4 archetypes. She shares a breakdown on the types of habits, professions, even priorities and concerns that these different women have. And you get to take this quiz and find out what your archetype is, and it was fascinating. So if you're in the market for a book that isn't super dense on the science side, but you'd like to understand a little bit more about eating better, things that you can look for in the grocery store, or how you can reimagine your relationship with healthy fats or getting enough protein in, and, you know, vegetables and fiber, I would definitely read that book. Here are all of my vegetables. This will make me about 2 or 3 meals probably. And then I'm also going to pop a little chicken sausage in this, and we'll have breakfast for the next couple days. I always try to make like a couple meals at once, if not more. I don't like leftovers for too long though. So you kind of got to find your rhythm, and it takes a while. You're not gonna, especially if you're new to like food prep or just cooking at home a lot in general, it could be a thing because you're thinking about food waste, you're thinking about the cost of food, you're thinking about, okay, do I need to take it out and thaw it? It takes a while to get your rhythm down. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's not gonna happen in a weekend. You're not gonna reset your entire life, you know, on a Sunday afternoon. Like, give yourself 3, 4, 5, 6 months to find your groove based on what your schedule is, because not every week is the same either. Sometimes you're prepping on a Monday morning like I am. Sometimes I could have maybe done this yesterday. You know, it's just depends. This is how it turned out. It looks really good. The potatoes look crispy. Sausage looks good. Going to give it a taste in just a little bit. With breakfast, I'll take the multivitamin. We have 3 of these. And we have just one of the omega-3s. And then I'll do some of the D3, K2 under the tongue. I just let it drop until I feel about 4 or 5 little drops. And this isn't a part of my supplement protocol, but this is a prescription medication that I need to take for my ulcerative colitis. Just glad I don't have to take the injections anymore. The whole reason that I'm doing this is to see how my body responds to not having the immunosuppressant in my system. And then I just made a little blueberry banana smoothie as well. This doesn't have any protein in it. I'm gonna go to the gym later today because I have leg day. So we'll do a collagen protein, the bovine collagen later on in the afternoon. Made this with coconut milk and a little bit of cinnamon. Except for like the extra oomph that the blueberries give and the banana, there's really not that much going on in this smoothie, but I like to have something that adds a little bit more calories to my meal because I like a big breakfast. And I feel like it's a little bit harder for me to get as many calories as I would like eating the way that I am right now, which, you know, is just a challenge. It's fine. All right, let's see what this tastes like. I'm really excited because last week I did the orange sweet potatoes and I really like white sweet potatoes. If you haven't tried white sweet potatoes, if you can find them, they're amazing. I don't really have anything to note. Like, it's really good, really easy to make. I really like the taste of the beets with the potatoes and the chicken sausage, or even grass-fed ground beef if you want to do that, which I'll go back to that next week. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this and get myself over to the desk so I get to work, and I'll see you for lunch. Just kidding, I actually won't see you for lunch, but let me share with you what I had on repeat. So these are some parsnips that I just cooked down in some olive oil. I love the texture of these. Salt, a little sea salt, and that's it. I really do like the flavor of like some parsnips. And then these little cod wraps with some mango salsa was really, really good. And the cod was cooked with ghee and coconut aminos. And then I have my little vitamins on the side. So I'm doing like a call for school right now. I'm multitasking, but this lunch was on repeat, I promise you. Okay, before we move on, I want to share this video update that I made right here about the AIP diet update. So I got a question on Instagram reel, because I've posted this in like my stories. I've posted a little bit about this on TikTok and across my social platforms. And I did get a question from somebody, and they were like, can you share an update? And I'm like, well, the big update is coming on YouTube, but okay, cool. So I recorded this video. I have yet to post it, but I can just put it out whenever I get around to it. So here, I'm going to share with you this. Autoimmune fam, let me share something that may not be as obvious to you right now, depending on where you are in your journey. If you are in a flare-up, you're in remission, medication, so on and so forth. Okay, so I've been doing the autoimmune protocol, specifically the autoimmune protocol by AMMD. This is Dr. Amy Myers. Okay, so she has an entire supplement line. She's got a lot of resources and things like that for autoimmunity that you can purchase to support yourself with your autoimmunity. Okay, so these are supplements, but the thing that may not be so obvious is it doesn't necessarily matter how much of a multivitamin that you take, what that formula is, what your omega-3 looks like, whether you've had blood work done or not. It doesn't matter. Okay, so probiotics. I also have complete enzymes over there that I'm not holding because there was a lot of stuff in this supplement package, and D3K2. Also the Immune IG, which is immunoglobulins, and Leaky Gut Revive. This is L-glutamine. Paleo protein. This is collagen protein with added tryptophan, so it is a complete protein supplement source. I've been doing all of this every single day the last 3 weeks. And what is missing? Because I think people are asking me, well, what's the update? Like, let me know how it's working for you, because I have an autoimmune condition and I also want to, obviously I want to support myself. The supplements absolutely help and they support, but they do not take the place of what you're doing as far as your diet and your lifestyle is concerned. And I think that those are the things that fall through the cracks. We start to see a supplement and we're like, oh, well, I'm just going to take this L-glutamine powder and I'll mix this in my water, or I'll start to take a probiotic and like I should get better. You still have to address your diet and your lifestyle before you ever start to do any supplementation, and you should be working with a practitioner or a functional medicine doctor to help you through that decision making on what supplements to actually take. You may not even need to be taking supplements, or you might be taking the wrong dosage, you might be taking the wrong form, like the delivery method of the supplement. So with your diet, you have to make sure you're eating whole foods, you're staying away from sugar, probably dairy and gluten, and you are certainly working a lot of anti-inflammatory foods into your diet. Stay away from the processed and the ultra processed foods. As far as your lifestyle is concerned, you got to have ways to manage stress, because stress is not going to go anywhere. Like, you have to have techniques like meditation, breath work. I can't say enough about these things. Okay, this is going to help you keep your inflammation down for whatever autoimmune condition that you're navigating. Also with your strength training or your movement, your activity, your day-to-day physical activity, that's also a stress reliever that is going to help us also reduce our inflammation. It sounds counterintuitive, especially if you think of like the high intensity workouts, those could actually increase your cortisol. That might lead to chronic systemic inflammation. However, Pilates, yoga, walking, a lot of walking, you can do weight training. Like, this has been key for me. So when we're talking about autoimmune condition, it is not just a supplement. It is a diet. It is the things that you do and do not eat. It is things that you do and do not do on a daily basis. Like, how are you moving your body? Are you regulating your nervous system? All of those things have to come together. And that is my personal experience and my formal training. But the idea that there is a supplement protocol that is just going to like save your life and like change everything is not realistic. I was making sure that I was walking a lot. I was resting. I was trying my best to get like 8 hours of sleep a night and really making sure my body had time to repair. But also the food and the diet. It's like, there's not a supplement that's going to come and save you. There's not a supplement that is going to outwork a bad diet. Like you can take all the supplements that you want, but if you are not nourishing your body first, the supplements may not even be effectively absorbed. I'm so serious. Your body needs the vitamins and the nutrients that are coming from whole food sources first. So you cannot just be like, oh, I took my vitamin C and my omega-3 zinc and magnesium and my multivitamin or whatever. You can't just be like, I'm taking that. I drank a little bit of greens today, or I drank a smoothie and I'm good. Like, you still have to be very intentional about how you nourish yourself. So that's something that I wanted to make sure I didn't get construed, is like, you don't need this supplement protocol in order to do an autoimmune protocol. Like, you can just do that as a diet for a little while and test some things out, because reminder, it's to pinpoint different foods or sensitivities that you may have, or just to simply give your body a break from certain things. It's not about making like necessarily a forever change. It's just a type of diet that's going to maybe reset you and get you back on track and really lower your inflammation over time. And again, you just don't have to do that sort of thing with the supplement protocol that I did. I was able to work with the brand. This video is not even paid. I mean, I told them I was doing this and they sent me the protocol. Yes, I am an affiliate. Yes, my link, I will get a commission on anything that you may purchase from the website. I wanted to do this protocol, especially because I was tapering off a biologic medication and I was in the middle of like moving states and like all of these things and starting my business and graduating from school. So it was just a good time for me to really make sure that my nutrition was intact and I was able to sustain like all of the changes and the life changes that was happening around me. So again, to run that point home, you don't need a whole bunch of supplements to feel better. Like, you want to make sure you're attacking food first and you're being very intentional about what's on your plate, and that your lifestyle, as far as physical movement is concerned, your sleep hygiene and your evening practices and like all of those lifestyle things, like how you manage stress, like your stress management techniques, okay, breath work, meditation, whatever that looks like for you, frequencies, sound frequencies. You've got to make sure that all of those things are working in tandem. It's not going to be an omega-3 soft gel. It's not going to be some liquid D3K2 drops, and it's not going to be no type of protein powder that comes in and like rescues you. Okay, there's a lot of other work that you got to put in as well, and that is my take. Now back to the vlog. Let's go outside. My house is a mess right now. Don't pay attention. I definitely think it has to be emphasized that if you decide to do a diet like this, it's not about all the supplements, okay? It is about what you do every single day, in and out. And if you're consistent, it's hard. You gotta be disciplined. But I think it's really about the routines and your mindset in between all of the meals and the supplements. It's about all of those things coming together, you know what I'm saying? Because there's just not one supplement that's going to save you. There's not a recipe that's going to rescue you. I like that. I just came up with that, like, little alliteration. It's really about you putting all of these things together, these practices, from lifestyle to nutrition. I'm about to open this door and we're gonna go outside. So part of what my non-negotiable is, I try to get outside in the mornings for, I don't know, like I try to get about 2,000 steps out here on the rooftop every morning. My lens is fogging up because it's so humid in New Orleans. And I bring my lemon water right now, about 8 ounces, and then I have 10 ounces of the L-glutamine and the serum-derived immunoglobulins. So I walk out here on the rooftop, just take some laps, and I don't have my headphones in. I try to disconnect. I try to listen to, just the ambiance of being out here on the 5th floor, and I hear the cars go by. It sounds like I'm downtown because I live downtown. This feels really good for my nervous system. This is great for my circadian rhythm. When we wake up in the morning and we get sunlight, it tells our body that it's time to be up and alert, and it will also trigger our melatonin later on to naturally rise when it's time for bed, because that's the circadian rhythm with the sun setting and the sun rising. I've definitely noticed a difference there. I feel like my mood as well, like getting vitamin D is going to also help us produce serotonin, which is made in the gut. Like, it's insane. So the connection between vitamin D and our gut-brain axis, getting that serotonin in so that way I am not a little moody girl, is on the top of my priority list, because I really don't like to be moody. That is not fun for anyone. Like, nobody, not myself, nobody around me. So let me get some laps in, see if we can get, you know, close to 2,000 steps in. It don't have to be perfect. All in all, I was able to do the AIP diet for 21 days, and my overall review is that it is a very challenging thing to do, but it's so rewarding. I would definitely recommend this to someone who, whether you have an autoimmune condition or not, or you are in a flare-up or not, whether you are maybe in remission and you've been feeling well for a while. Also, if you just have chronic inflammation that you know about, this doesn't have to be necessarily only for someone who is managing and navigating an autoimmune condition. It could be someone who's just really, like, if you're wanting to consider really testing food sensitivities and you want to just clean some stuff up, this is the golden standard. You can do more research on this if you would like, you know, ask practitioners around you if you know of any. You can obviously contact me through my practice Find Diet, and if you want to talk more about this, but it is really like, there's not another type of diet that's going to reflect back to you foods that are not setting well with you. And it might just be taking those foods out. Sometimes I've read studies and different stories around, okay, I took dairy out of my life for like a whole year. And when I reintroduced it slowly, intentionally, smartly, after 12 months, I was able to do dairy, but maybe just like once a week, or, you know, here and there. I may not just go back to like straight up dairy all the time, or I had to make sure that the dairy was grass fed, or maybe I was doing A2 dairy and those types of things. And so I think that you can, if you go into this with an open mind, like, hey, I'm going into this to learn, it is really an experiment. It's me running my own study on myself. And so I've got to be disciplined. It's going to be a little bit strict or feel restrictive, even though I really hate that word, because it's such an opportunity to see the light on the, you know, on the other side, or like, you know, the grass is potentially greener once you take out certain things out of your diet. And you just you learn all of the things that you could eat instead of, like the gluten and the dairy, the sugar, the inflammatory oils. You'll end up stopping going to fast food restaurants as often, and you will feel better. Your metabolism will be better, your hormones will be better, your cycles, women, will very likely improve. You'll feel less overall puffiness or inflammation. Your bloating may even go down, or, you know, so you'll start to have symptoms that are resolving because you are just being intentional about not eating things that could be inflaming you, and resetting, just a complete reset. It's not a forever thing. So that's a recap on my AIP diet. Let me know if you have done one before, or if you are educating yourself and about to do one. Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there, and it could be overwhelming. So I definitely understand, but I'm wishing you good luck on your journey. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments, what you would like to see next. And be sure to check out my description for other links. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you soon.